So you got garlic?
Yep.
All right. Take yourself off 4 good-sized garlic bulbs. If they're tiny. Now, did you put a rag underneath your cutting board so it doesn't slide all over the place?
Nope.
Okay. So press down hard. Put the blade flat onto the ledge so you can't hurt yourself. And then with the side of your hand, with your knuckles, just smash. And it'll break the skin, smash the garlic, and you can just pull it straight out.
Okay. Oh, good. That's just the butt. You don't cut. You just want the very.
Yep, just that little brown piece that's connected to the roots. And I'm just going to coarse chop them until they're no longer bite size. If you have a normal sized yellow onion, just use half. We're doing the onion, okay. Now, I leave the butt end on my onions, and I'll come in on the side and go down into it. Now, you want a nice sharp knife when you're doing that, because you are wanting to know and feel how you're cutting. Because if your knife's not sharp, you'll have to push instead of pull, because as you pull, it'll go deeper. If you got to push into it, you're going to go into your finger. And then you come in from the top, and you're going to go all the way down to the butt and do a couple little slits and start making kind of like a pyramid right next to it. And then you can come in and you squeeze your onion. Squeeze your onion to where it's all together, and then just push a little bit through, and then you're left with this little nub, but everything's got a little tiny dice about the same size as your garlic.
Are we supposed to have our water on or not?
Not yet. I was just getting to that.
Making sure I didn't miss something.
No.
No, that's not what we're doing. We gotta go all the way down.
All right, how much water did you put in your pot?
A lot.
All right, make sure it's 3/4 the way or 2/3 the way full, so in between those.
Yep.
All right. Turn your pot on full blast. Chicken, we're just going to clean up a touch. If you want to go back through and put chicken in it next time, basically just take the little bit of fat off there.
You want to chop this a little more without getting it all over the floor? Just go through.
All I'm working towards on this is 1/4 inch slices. We want to reach over, heat your pan up dry. Alright, if you're doing chicken, grab a little cooking oil. I got a little olive oil blend. Just a touch. Should be super hot and liquidy go around your. Then you're going to want to crank it down a little bit because your pan should be hot as bejesus. We're going to need, and I potentially hope everybody's got one, some form of a spatula, not rubber. Separate them out. A little bit of salt. Oh, a couple sprinkles of red pepper. Just why not? A little black pepper. Separate them as much as you can. Try to give them their own little area. That way they'll brown up. Chicken doesn't really go bright, but if you take a little bit of lime or a little bit of lemon juice, if you squeeze lemon into a pan with hot oil, it's going to pop at you. There are seeds in it. You want to catch them in your hand. Then you can let the lemon juice kind of drizzle into your pan. And you don't get a surprise seed. Rinse the hand off. Time to turn the stove on. Just going to put these in here, let them sit off to the side until later. They're not finished cooking. They will finish cooking once I got the whole sauce all put together. Now, did you get the pack with the writing on the side?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 tablespoons. So basically, as square as it is, as rounded, or as square as it is, as long as it is. Run it around the inside of your pan. Make sure everybody's going to get nice and melty. Now, are you bubbling like this? All right, crank it down to halfway. Last thing you want to have happen is spend all that time dealing with stuff and it all turns black. So once you get it down to melted, crank it down to half. Take our onions and garlic right into the pan. Now be careful when you go to get into your pasta water. All right, that lid's going to be super hot. Take your little bowl and get maybe, just enough to cover the bottom of the bowl. Little baby bit. Now at this point, I'm going to take the onions, garlic, and butter, and I'm going to add my salt to it because I want the water to come out of the onions. Then at this point, we're going to primarily do the entirety of the dish on the seasonings. Now, if you want it spicier, add more. If you want it less spicy, just do a couple shakes. Just go in with a little crushed red pepper. Black pepper, though, make sure you can see it on top of your onions quite well. I'm going to open my spinach. Now, I just got the bag with, you know, the leaves and the pieces and everything already still done to it. Not too worried about it. It's going to be just fiber. Anyway, but add your little baby bit of water to it. At this point in time, I want to go into the fridge and I'm going to get out my cream cheese. I'm going to get out my Parmesan cheese. I'm going to get out my milk. My spinach is cooked down to soft. Is yours?
No.
Okay.
Got a lot of liquid.
Now, I got my little tiny bowl that I've been messing with. I'm going to take my tomatoes, and I'm probably going to put about half of them down in there. All right. Now I put the hot spinach right on top of the tomatoes.
Wait, what kind of bowl did you, and how many tomatoes?
I just took out the little tiny thing of cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, but
So I just put, you know, like half a container, like 5 ounces. Yeah, just on the bottom of the bowl. That way the spinach will cook. The spinach will heat up the tomatoes, and the tomatoes will cook or cool down the spinach.
got it.
Now I'm gonna go get another tablespoon of butter. Because rule of the kitchen, butter is better.
Butter.
Yep. But now we're gonna take. Remember the pesto sauce that you had to find? All right. Take a small little spoon and get as much on the spoon as you can.
How much butter?
1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon. Yep. You got it.
All right. Does appear. Is your water boiling? Because my water's boiling.
Yep. I just know.
All right. I opened my cream cheese up. I got my fettuccine. Now, when you go to open that, one, you got steam, so open it away from your face, okay? Unless you need a facial. And then you can set the lid in the sink or wherever you want to. Bits and pieces. All right, just kind of fan them out as much as you can. All right. I'm going back in with my spatula. You got butter, pesto, and whatever's left of the garlic and onions in there.
Did you get the whole box of pasta?
I did the whole box of pasta because we're doing for 4.
Okay.
Now you're gonna put in probably 3 ounces, quarter cup, third a cup of regular milk. Just whole milk, 2%, whatever you want. And take your little spatula.
How much milk?
About a third of a cup. Take your little spatula. And scrape everything up off the bottom. Now the fun part about fettuccine is you will wind up with one giant glob of noodles if you're not careful. So at this point, if they started to droop a little bit, come in here and stir them and lift. Don't take them all the way out of the pot. Just bring them up to where they break themselves apart. Acquiring the cream cheese. Very good. I am looking at a half a package of cream cheese. We got our pesto, we got our milk.
Did you get 1 tablespoon of pesto?
I got a regular small spoon and put a giant heaping load of pesto.
Oh, okay. Is it too late to add a little more pesto, maybe?
No, go to town. Because that's kind of one of those, if you want more, you can have more. It's the main flavor base in the entire dish, so.
Yeah, this didn't seem like a lot. Go ahead and some more.
All right, we're just gonna stir slowly. All right, everything's back to a boil, I can see on our pastas. That's a bonus. Now, with a little more activity in it, it'll do its job a little better. But you still want to give it a nice stir. Break them all apart just as much as you can. You've got the temperature down nice and low on your skillet, right? No bubbles,
Yeah.
Just melting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you got too much, you're going to end up melting it. I'll put a little more pesto in mine too, so it looks like yours. All right, Farrah, you know how to test fettuccine to make sure that it's perfect? Okay. Well, let's start opening the rest of our stuff up. All right, I got the good Parmesan cheese out of the cool case, like I said I was going to.
Are we
All right. First, we got to melt all this down and get it nice and smooth. Then we're going to add the flavor to the cheese. All right. Don't forget, always stir your pasta. Now about this time, you want to go in and you want to figure out how far do I need to go. So get yourself a piece of pasta. Now you can go two different ways. You can take it, you can throw it at steel, and you can see if it sticks. It stuck. Or take a bite of it.
Yeah, ours has still got a dry.
Okay. Well, put the lid back on it and bring it back up to a boil. All right, if you notice your sauce being too thick, add yourselves a splash more milk. Because we are going to add more cheese to it, which is going to thicken it more. But yeah, if it starts looking like gravy, that's too thick. You guys have tongs?
Yeah.
Okay. Reach in to your water. And go get your pasta.
Okay, let me make sure it's not.
Now we're going directly from one to the other because we want the starch. We're basically done with the spatula. We're going to use it a little bit just to flip the sauce into the noodles. All right. Now, I'm going to take handfuls of Parmesan cheese and I'm going to mix that in. I'm going to turn off my sauce. There's no more heat to the sauce with the fettuccine in it, okay? All right, I got about 3 big pinches of cheese in there. I want to add my spinach back to it. Kind of put it all over the place. Get your tomatoes in there. You don't have to, but chicken if you have it. Well, take your spatula. Take your spatula and your tongs and kind of pull it together and then flip it over. Flip the tongs over, not the spatula.
I'm just having a hard time getting all this noodle out of the pan.
Oh, you're not going to get all of them. I mean, if you wanted to get all of them, just throw a colander in the sink and run that hot water down the sink.
How many? We're probably good then. We got plenty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you got 95% of them, you did good.
I don't know that I did, but whatever. All right,
Now what we can do is we can turn our stuff off. So all the gas on the stove is off. All right. Now because we got good starchy water, and I put my spinach back in there, I'm gonna take a little bit of my hot water out of the pasta. I'm gonna keep my pasta hot with a little hot water, just a little bit.
This looks good.
Save a little bit of the Parmesan for at the very, very end. Yeah, just to keep it thin. You want to coat everything nice and heavy. But you see how when I touch it, it's very thin, but it's super cheesy. Because you don't want it thick and gloppy.
Looks good.
You got your pasta?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
It's not glossy.
Take it and let everything else fall down until you got just what pasta you can hold on to. Now with two hands, go around in a circle.
Alright, Sharon, we need a bowl.
Nice big bowl. Take another little baby dollop of pesto. Up on top. Parmesan cheese. And a little touch of black pepper on top.